Arsenal Football Club, double winners last season, unbeaten in the Premiership here in 22 matches, stretching back to December 1997. Such is the size of the task facing Leicester City today. Both these teams involved in cracking games last Wednesday night as Arsenal drew 1-1 at Old Trafford against Manchester United, and Leicester also drew 1-1 with Sunderland at Filbert Street, but that was good enough to get them through to Wembley and the Worthington Cup final, where they will meet Tottenham Hotspur next month. The second time in 3 seasons that they've been in the final of that competition. Last season they finished 10th in the Premiership and spent only 2 weeks throughout the whole of the campaign outside of the top 10. And that has to be considered a successful season for them. But at the moment they've slipped down to 13th position, having gone 5 games in the league without a victory. If they are going to end that run, it's going to take something special, because they haven't won here at Highbury for a quarter of a century. The 1973-74 season, the last time they tasted victory here. Arsenal have won 10 of their last 11 home games against Leicester. The referee, Paul Durkin, leads the 2 teams out to a rapturous reception in the North London sunshine. Let's take a check then on the lineups today. The Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger has freshened up his side, making 4 changes from the team that drew at Old Trafford. Dennis Bergkamp is back from a ban, and French duo Rémi Garde and Gilles Gamondi come in, with Kanu, Bold and Hughes dropping to the bench. There's a start too for Nelson Vivas. Nigel Winterburn and Emmanuel Petit are suspended. Petit, though, is injured anyway. The Gunners have only conceded 4 Premiership goals here. If you get past their defenders, there's still a big obstacle in the way. Well, Leicester City are without both their first-choice strikers. Emile Heskey has a back problem. Tony Cottee's not 100% fit either after his midweek cup exertions. So there's a first start for Icelandic international Arne Gunnlaugsson, a £2 million buy from Bolton Wanderers. Midfielder Muzzy Izzet will push forward to support him. Robbie Savage and Theo Zagorakis come into the starting lineup. Veteran defender Steve Walsh is left on the bench. Keeper Casey Keller was in fine form in midweek, keeping Sunderland at bay as the Foxes reach the Worthington Cup final, and he can expect another busy 90 minutes. Arsenal in 3rd place in the Premiership, hot on the heels of Chelsea, just a point behind them, but 5 points behind the old enemy, Manchester United. The 2 captains, Tony Adams of Arsenal and Matt Elliott of Leicester City. The 2 teams met earlier in the season at Filbert Street and drew 1-1. Dennis Bergkamp, who was suspended for the midweek match at Manchester United, scored a brilliant hat-trick against Leicester at Filbert Street last season. But the travelling Foxes fans will be hoping that their team can pull off what might seem like mission impossible, bearing in mind they haven't won here since the early 1970s. Adams, very much Captain Marvel for Arsenal. in their famous red and white shirts, but it'll be Leicester City in all blue to get us up and running. You wonder how much the midweek games involving these two teams against Manchester United in the Premiership for Arsenal and against Sunderland in the Worthington Cup for Leicester might have affected both sides. That's why both managers have made a few changes to freshen things up. It's Leicester City with Elliott immediately lumping one forward. Frank Sinclair back in London where he played for Chelsea. Firm header by Adams finds Vieira, who was outstanding at Old Trafford in midweek. Flicked on by Muzzy Izzet. Lee Dixon still going strong, finds Ray Parlour. Taken off his toes by Lennon. Vieira steps in for Arsenal. And he won't give it up in a hurry, you can be sure of that. Patrick Vieira, still only 22 years of age. A tremendous talent. This man's not bad either. Bergkamp. And it finds Overmars eventually. And Overmars pulls it back. Sinclair sends it away, but only to Bergkamp, who's quickly crowded out, but somehow finds a way through the crowd. And Elliott's challenge eventually rescued Leicester. Camargue. It's a lively start at Highbury. Lee Dixon trying to thread it through to Parlour. Here's Muzzy Izzet. Steve Guppy. Otterthorne outside. It bounces off the boot of Vieira and out for a Leicester throw. Gunnlaugsson was obstructed by Grimondi. £2 million buy from Bolton Wanderers, Arne Gunnlaugsson of Iceland. 14 goals for Bolton this season. Steve Guppy really can whip in delightful balls, but not like that. That most definitely wasn't one of them. Well, he usually gets it right, Steve Guppy. Not on that occasion. Leicester have only won twice on the road this season in the Premiership, at Leeds and at Sheffield Wednesday. Picked up a fair amount of draws away from home, though, 6 in all, and just 4 defeats. Adams won the header, towering above Gunnlaugsson. And Remy Gard releasing Overmars. Camargue did well, the Swedish international. A mighty tussle between Bass and Izzet results in a free kick to Arsenal. Which they've wasted somewhat. Straight through to Casey Keller. Muzzy Izzet in a more advanced role for Leicester today, in the absence of Heskey and Cottee. Grimondi slotting into Arsenal's back four in place of Steve Bold, who's been left on the bench. Remy Gard finds his compatriot Vieira. Bergkamp. Dixon was caught late by Otterthorne. Managed to see the funny side, not sure if Dixon did. Anelka to Parlour. Remy Gard. Away by Savage. Grimondi was calm and very composed. Here's Guard. Parlour. Bergkamp. Nelka was a little casual, and that allowed Sinclair to step in front of him. Guppy's attempted crossfield ball cannoned off Vieira, but it gets to Savage eventually. That will drop harmlessly through to David Seaman, who really was in excellent form at Old Trafford against Manchester United in that midweek clash of the Giants. Lee Dixon looking to pick out Vieira, who'd made the forward run. Just past the 5-minute mark. That they Premiership goal at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest, who would appear doomed, are already a goal down to Chelsea, and it's the Finnish youngster Mikael Forsell who's got the goal. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 1. Vieira. Adams. Vivas. Arsenal's throw. Vivas, the Argentine World Cup player, has actually played in 4 positions already this season now for Arsenal. Right back, right midfield, central midfield, and left back. Nigel Winterburn, who's occupied that position for just a few years, is suspended today. Here's Vieira. Looking to get it back. Elliott taking no chances. A wise thing to do at Highbury, really. Vivas's throw. Here's Kamark being hassled by Bergkamp and Vivas, which is why he had to do that, really. Parlour's header. Poor first touch from Parlour, and here's Robert Ullathorne. Not quite the service that Leicester required from Ullathorne. Elliott. It was taken away from him by Anelka, who gets it back from Bergkamp. Still Anelka. The wrong option. A situation that promised much for Arsenal, but delivered little in the end. Guppy on towards Gunnlaugsson. He had to wait for support to arrive in the box, and Gunnlaugsson has won the corner. His first start for Leicester City today on the ground, where he actually made his debut in English football for Bolton when they were beaten here by 4-1, September '97. It's about as much to the far post as you can get. Sent back into the danger zone by Lennon, away by Adams. Here's Zagorakis, who didn't catch it cleanly. And that's a shame for Leicester, because he was in a pretty good position to have a pop at goal. Theo Zagorakis scored a stunner against Manchester United recently. His only other goal came against Barnsley last season. Lee Dixon, who's just agreed another one-year contract with Arsenal, along with Messrs Winterburn and Bold. Parler's cross. Away by Kamar. Lennon stumbled. Got up in time. Zagarakis. Guppy to his left. Where else? Guppy. Well, that's the second desperate cross he sent in, which might suggest that a pretty decent one won't be far away. It's not often you see Guppy do that twice in succession. Had a short spell at Newcastle, Steve Guppy, under Kevin Keegan, but was quickly sold to Port Vale. Actually played under the current Leicester manager, Martin O'Neill, at Wycombe Wanderers. Arsenal, incredibly, have only conceded 4 goals in the Premiership here at Highbury this season. He's one of the reasons why. Lee Dixon. Neil Lennon, who scored here last season, a 2-1 defeat. Helped on by Bergkamp to Nicholas Anelka. Hooked away by Zagarakis. Vieira. Olathorn finding Guppy. Quickly closed down by Dixon. Back it goes to Olathorn. Away by Grimondi. And a rare mistake by Adams, but Vivas rescued the situation. That was a strange one from Vivas. Here's Robert Olathorn. Zagarakis. Ghosted past Vieira, now Neil Lennon. He couldn't quite go past Vieira. And Keller comes. And a powerful clearance, which will drop out of play for an Arsenal throw. American international goalkeeper, Casey Keller. Here's Ray Parler. His way through a couple of challenges. Theo Zagarakis, the captain of Greece, looks for Izzet. Overmars trapped back though. Remy Gard. Lee Dixon. Parler. Neat 1-2 with Bergkamp. But it eluded Anelka. Dixon's throw, finding Parler. Parler now to Bergkamp, who's onside. Oh, he's dragged it wide. Well, Dennis Bergkamp has scored in 3 of his last 4 games. And when he was bearing down on goal here, you kind of had the feeling it would be 4 in 5. Not so, though. He had a look up. Saw that he had to go it alone, really. Dixon. Towering clearance by Seaman, knocked back by Elliott. Olathorn. Izzet down for Guppy. Olathorn deciding on a change of sides. Kamar. Challenged by Grimondi. Anelka was sandwiched between Lennon and Sinclair. Parler. Dixon. Anelka. Who's looking a little casual so far this afternoon. Robbie Savage, who's just agreed a new contract with Leicester City. Oops. Bobbled off the boot of Lennon. And it's given Arsenal a chance to power forward here. Parler's pass, though, won't be kept in by Anelka. He's very quick, but not that quick. Guppy. Almost a quarter of an hour played. It's Arsenal 0, Leicester City 0. Chelsea leading 1-0 at Nottingham Forest through Mikhail Forsell, Finland youngster. It's the only goal in the Premiership so far. Zagorakis to Izzet. Savage. Kamark. We really don't want to show too much of it to Overmars. Guppy. Izzet. Situation read well by Grimondi. Offside flag up against Anelka. There are 8 Frenchmen on the books of Arsenal now. Mazi Izzet, born in London of Turkish parentage, thought he might actually play for Turkey, but then discovered he would have to do national service in that country before doing so, and strangely enough changed his mind. Ullathorne is in agony. Interesting that the ball should be kicked out so that he should get treatment. I wonder what Arsenal will do when they have to throw it back in after last week's controversy. And news today that FIFA are not happy with the fact that Arsenal against Sheffield United in the FA Cup is going to be replayed, and there appears to be some doubt about that. It's not a problem for Martin O'Neill, though, the Leicester City manager. But this injury to Robert Ullathorne might be. He was just caught by the boot of Ray Parler. Southampton are 1-0 up against Newcastle at the Dell, and that goal scored by James Beattie came on for England's under-21s against the French recently. Southampton 1, Newcastle 0, as the Saints fight for Premiership survival. Well, Robert Ullathorne is no stranger to injuries. Broke his ankle on his Leicester City debut when he returned from a spell in Spanish football with Osasuna. And let's hope that's nothing too serious and that they can sort it out. An ironic cheers as Arsenal do indeed throw it back to Leicester. Away by Grimondi, but here's Mazi Izzet. Taking on Dixon. And the throw-in goes the way of an Arsenal defensive legend. Lee Dixon will be 35 next month. Parler. Remy Gard. Well, Overmars effortlessly brought it under control. And he'll settle for the throw of Pontus Kamark. Vieira. Dixon. Away by Sinclair, but only to Parler. Now Vieira. Vivas. Vivas trying to be a little bit intricate there, Arsenal. Mind you, nobody can hang on to it at the moment for any length of time. Arsenal might do now, though, with Vieira charging his way through, and credit to Casey Keller, who bravely dived at the feet of the Frenchman. Well, when he's steaming through like that, he takes some stopping. Zagorakis. Kamark. Poor first touch from Izzet. Adams' clearance, kept in play by Lennon. And here's Gunnlaugsson. Savage. Away by Lee Dixon. Parler. Vieira. Here's Overmars. Getting onto the right foot, he scored a few goals from that position, but this time it was charged down. It's away by Savage. Adams. Nelson Vivas. Adams. Oh, that's a little loose, and Guppy capitalises. Gunnlaugsson for Muzzy Izzet. The momentum of Leicester's attack lost somewhat. Arsenal with plenty of bodies back now. Robert Ullathorne back in business for Leicester after his injury worry. It's lifted over the top for Anelka. Keller doesn't come. Anelka! It was too good an opportunity to turn down. Nicolas Anelka is becoming one of the best strikers in the world. Bergkamp sent it over the top of Leicester's defence. And when Anelka was in this position, he was sure about what would happen next. Great vision by Bergkamp. He looked for Anelka, who made the run, and that was simply clinical. Nicolas Anelka with his 12th of the season. He's scored in the last 3 Premiership matches now, having gone 2 months without getting a goal. The deadlock's been broken too at Anfield in the Premiership, and it's Liverpool 1, West Ham 0. Robbie Fowler on target. West Ham haven't won at Anfield since the early 1960s, so no surprise about that scoreline at the moment. Nicolas Anelka breaking the deadlock here. Savage. Remigard will slide in with the challenge though. Another Premiership goal to tell you about. I'll tell you about it in a moment, because here's Muzzy Izzet for Leicester. Now Neil Lennon. Arsenal comfortably get themselves out of any hint of trouble. It's Blackburn 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1 at Ewood Park. Danny Sonner, former Ipswich man, with the goal for Sheffield Wednesday. It's Arsenal who lead here at Highbury. Sinclair. Gunnlaugsson. Ambitious efforts when you're trying to beat somebody of the calibre of David Seaman. Dixon. Sinclair's header, sent back by Vivas. Camargue gives it to Casey Keller, who launches it into the main stand at Highbury. West Ham have equalised at Anfield. Frank Lampard from the penalty spot. That's only the third league goal they've scored at Anfield since 1975, would you believe? Well, Nicolas Anelka's goal is the one that's made the difference here. Camargue's throw. Vivas, Savage, Vieira gets it back from Vivas. Sinclair sends it back. Ooh, Gunnlaugsson away from Grimondi, but Adams proved to be too much of a hurdle to leap for Arne Gunnlaugsson. Here's Lennon, now Guppy. Elliott. Grimondi got a foot in, and here they go again. Bergkamp and Anelka, and Anelka is through once more. It's a carbon copy. It's 2-0. Ditto. Leicester carved open by the power, the pace and the precision of Nicolas Anelka, with, once again, a little help from Dennis Bergkamp. But this was from the same position as the first goal. And Anelka making one of his trademark runs adds to his fast growing reputation. 2-0 to Arsenal. Here's Bergkamp, looking around at all the available options and choosing Parlour this time. Bergkamp again, orchestrating things for Arsenal, but for once he got it wrong. It was a foul by Lee Dixon. Dixon told to calm it down by Paul Durkin. Nicolas Anelka may have scored both goals, but Dennis Bergkamp set both up. Wonderful vision. Dennis Bergkamp, the cry from the Arsenal fans. Here's Pontus Camargue for Leicester, rocked by those two Anelka goals. Overmars. No free kick. Oh, there's a free kick has been given for the challenge on Overmars. Bergkamp, Vieira, Anelka, and Vieira, and Keller quickly out. For the second time in the match, he dived at the feet of Patrick Vieira. And that could be a pretty brave thing to do. Just over a quarter of an hour of the first half remaining, and Arsenal coasting it here, 2-0 up against Leicester City. Anelka already on a hat-trick. Bobby Savage actually began his career at Manchester United before ending up at Crewe. Arsene Wenger having won the double with Arsenal last season, might be on course to do the same again. News of another goal in the Premiership. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 2, and Bjarni Goldbeck has got the second for Chelsea. So they keep on winning, picking up points, and Mark Overmars this time is frustrated by the offside flag. So it's Forest 0, Chelsea 2, Southampton 1, Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1, West Ham 1, Blackburn 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, and here at Highbury, Arsenal 2, Leicester 0. You have to say, Leicester City's chances of claiming a first win here for a quarter of a century are looking pretty slim at the moment. And the ricochet favours Anelka. Now Dixon. Anelka, and Lennon has to shunt it behind for a corner. Remy Gard to float this Arsenal corner in. Seemed to be some hands that went up there. Lennon. Gunnlaugsson. Is it? Zagorakis, the man nearby. It's won well by Vivas. He's becoming a bit of a hero with the Arsenal fans, even though he struggles to get into the side. Parler, not to return it to Dixon. It's difficult to see a weak spot in this Arsenal squad, let alone team. Nigel Winterburn and Emmanuel Petit out suspended today, but quality players like Vivas ready to step in. Grimondi referred to Steve Bold. Dixon. Remy Gard. Vieira. Adams. Bergkamp. Theo Zagorakis, and that's surely a free kick. Overmars caught the man rather than the ball. Leicester hoping for some sort of response before they hit half-time. But Arsenal are looking awesome. This is Vivas. Sinclair brought that surging run to an abrupt halt. Dixon. Vieira. Grimondi. It's over the top, offside. 10 minutes to go to half-time at Highbury. Arsenal cruising it at the moment, and that man is a big reason why. Setting up both goals for Nicolas Anelka. Wendy Toms running the line here at Highbury. Adams won the header. Here's Neil Lennon, Matt Elliott, Robert Ullathorne, Gunnlaugsson. Arsenal winning it back, and pretty easily at that. Remy Gard, Lee Dixon. Into the box, Parler on the chase, but Sinclair shut him out. And that allowed the ball to run through to Keller. Here's Guppy. Lennon. Kamar. Handball given against Neil Lennon. Leicester have by and large been overrun by powerful Arsenal side, to the extent that they can't really get any moves together. How about that from Anelka? Now he's showing off. Vivas, Overmars. Here they go again, Arsenal. It's Bergkamp. Patrick Vieira. Dixon. Parler. Vieira. Parler got sloppy. Guppy's flick on. Covered by Grimondi. Siemens clearance, flipped on by Parler, but here's Matt Elliott. Robert Ullathorne. Gunnlaugsson. Ullathorne. Is it? He was quickly crowded out, and now Vieira leads the Arsenal charge. And he slips it through to Bergkamp! Oh! It looked like it was going to be number 3. It looked like it was heading for the roof of the net, but it just veered over from Deadly Dennis. Well, a player of his talent will see that as a bad miss, because it opened up for Dennis Bergkamp in a similar position to where Anelka scored his 2 goals. Seaman getting ready to clear for Arsenal. The champions seeking to retain their title, and they're certainly going about it in the right way at the moment. Leicester can't get near the ball at times. The Highbury faithful applauding this little sequence. Vieira. Boring Arsenal, the ironic cry from the Arsenal fans. Once upon a time they did have a big reputation for being just that, but Certainly not these days. Sinclair. Inside the final 5 minutes of the first half. Lennon. Olathorn. Cushion header away from Adams. Remy Gard. Here's Bergkamp. And he slips it through to Ray Parlour. 3-0 Arsenal. And they really are making it look very, very easy. Olathorn, having tried to make things happen at the other end for Leicester, was caught out of position here. Hence there he is trying to get back, hence the space for Ray Parlour. And it's turning into a romp for the Gunners. Parlour's second of the season, after scoring at West Ham the other week. Pierre Van Hooijdonk has scored for Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, so it's Forest 1, Chelsea 2. And Petar Rudy has made it Blackburn 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2 at Ewood Park. Savage. Well, it really might be a case of damage limitation for Leicester now. But Arsenal are in the mood. Martin O'Neill with plenty to ponder. A desperate first half showing from his team, although they might be wondering what they can do really. Perhaps close down Arsenal a little quicker might be an idea. Here's Bergkamp, and here's Lee Dixon. Well, once again they took that route towards goal. Dixon hasn't scored for over 2 years, but with Arsenal in this sort of mood, even he fancies having a go. Parlour. Cut out by Camargue. Arsenal were unbeaten in 10 matches coming into this game. Oh, Bergkamp! Wonderful pass to pick out Overmars, who's going the long way round. Vieira. Dixon. Bergkamp. Parlour. Little dink on to Vieira. Overmars. Parlour. Dixon. Oops. Away by Guppy. Southampton lead Newcastle by 2-0 at the Dell. Jason Dodd on target. And what a vital victory that would be for the Saints. Bergkamp steps past Sinclair. Still Bergkamp. And he couldn't quite get it back to Manelka. He's had a hand in all 3 Arsenal goals. Maybe it's about time he got one himself. But the return from Anelka, disappointing. Disappointing, not often the word you associate with Bergkamp and Anelka. Parlour. Leicester are just not in it. It's Dixon. Grimondi. There'll be 2 minutes of time added on in this first half. I'm sure Leicester will be rather grateful when the whistle goes. Just look at this Arsenal move. It's Overmars with Anelka in the middle for his hat-trick! Nicholas Anelka, Highbury's hat-trick hero. And all three have come in the first half. And awesome Arsenal are taking Leicester City apart here. This move was magnificent. Vieira picked out Overmars, and he found Anelka. You don't suppose Arsenal would quite like to hang on to their title, do you? It's 4-0. 3 of them scored by this incredibly talented young Frenchman, Nicholas Anelka. And now they're looking for a fifth. It's Overmars. And he gets his cross in, and Sinclair has to knock it behind for a corner. Liverpool are back in front against West Ham at Anfield. Michael Owen has made it Liverpool 2, West Ham 1. In comes the corner. The half-time whistle coming as some relief, no doubt, to Leicester City. Dennis Bergkamp has orchestrated a stunning Arsenal performance here. They have been breathtaking. It was he who had a hand in the first 3 goals. Mark Overmars set up the 4th. But there's no doubt about the man who will grab the headlines here at Highbury, and that's Nicholas Anelka, who helped himself to a first half hat-trick. An amazing showing from the Gunners at the break. It's Arsenal 4, Leicester City 0. They're going to make 2 changes, and the Impey is also coming on for them by the look of it. And there's a slight delay to the start of this second half whilst the substitutions are sorted out. So Steve Walsh and Andrew Impey coming on. And the 2 that have gone off, I believe, are Pontus Kamart and Theo Zagorakis. So, a double change for Leicester City. Parlour. Nicholas Anelka with the first half hat-trick. But Dennis Bergkamp has been conducting the orchestra at Highbury. And here he is again, putting Anelka away. And he somewhat shanked his cross. Leicester have pushed defender Matt Elliott up front. There he is, being fouled by Grimondi. He's had to play there a couple of times this season. And he will support Arne Gunnlaugson. Leicester, remember, without their first choice strikers, Emile Heskey and Tony Cottee today. And at least they're going to try and put it about in this second half with Elliott moving up front. Here's Bergkamp though, now Anelka. Overmars won't keep that in play. Martin O'Neill and John Robertson not enjoying their afternoon so far by any stretch of the imagination. It was a wonderful Wednesday for them when they reached Wembley and the Worthington Cup final, but it's been a pretty sad Saturday so far. Here's Guppy. Elliott, beaten to it by Grimondi, mistake by Parler. Lennon, Andy Impey. And Walsh lobs it into the box, but it's collected by David Seaman. Overmars offside against Dennis Bergkamp. The only surprise so far is that he hasn't scored, although he has been setting them up. Steve Walsh, 13 years with Leicester now. A £100,000 buy from Wigan in 1986. He's served the Foxes well. And is it? Unleashed a superb strike. Straight at David Seaman, though. Ironic applause for the fact that Leicester have managed a decent attempt on goal. Savage, Impey, Lennon, Tony Adams. I think he meant to get a bit more on it than he did. Impey will take the throw. Comes to nothing for Leicester, and here's Overmars. Bergkamp. And here's Parler. Anelka let him through. It's number 5, and it's a second of the game for Ray Parler. Leicester City's hopes of a damage limitation exercise would appear to be fading already with an early second half strike for the Gunners. Anelka said, go on, you can have that one. And Parler calmly tucked it past Keller. And Arsenal have hit the high fives. Quite pulsating performance from the Gunners. 2 for Parler, 3 for Anelka. Grimondi may need attention here. Well, it's going to be an afternoon that Martin O'Neill will want to forget, but knowing him, it will live in his mind for some time. Leicester have not been in it, but there are quite a few clubs who would have been ripped apart by Arsenal when they're in this sort of mood. Good Laxon, though, charging his way into the Gunners' box, to no avail in the end. Adams. Arsenal's record at home in the Premiership this season: 7 wins, 5 draws, no defeats for Arsene Wenger. And they are about to make it 8 home wins in the league. Walsh's header, Lennon. Here's Guppy. Walsh. David Seaman. You'd have to fancy that he and the Arsenal defence could keep yet another clean sheet here. They've only conceded 4 goals at home in the Premiership all season. Quite a remarkable record. Good Larson, though. He ran into Vieira. Bergkamp saw his route forward blocked by Sinclair. Here is Is it? And it was miscontrolled by Guppy, who appeared to blame a bobble on the ground. It's Leeds United 1, Everton 0. Horston with the goal for Leeds at Ellen Road. Is it? Battling away for Leicester, back in his more familiar midfield role now. Fouled by Remy Gard. Vieira and Elliott tussling. That's the free kick. He drops behind anyway for a goal kick. Steve Walsh has banged in a few goals from those sort of set pieces in his time. That's the famous clock end at Highbury. Flicked on by Bergkamp, Anelka. Bergkamp brings Parler into it. He's on a hat-trick now. Anelka already has one. Bergkamp is away from Sinclair, but Lennon cut across him. Matt Elliott. Adams moves away from Gunnlaugson. Vivas. Arsenal have kept 15 clean sheets in 25 Premiership matches this season. They've only conceded 1 goal in their last 7 games. That was against Manchester United in midweek. Before Andy Cole's header breached their defence, they had gone 10 hours and 24 minutes without letting a goal in. Overmars, he's going to put it back here for Bergkamp. He hasn't even gone behind. Elliott has been penalised for a foul on Grimondi. Overmars, who set up Anelka's hat-trick goal, Arsenal's 4th, almost involved again in setting one up for Bergkamp. Here's Lee Dixon. Vieira. Adams. Seaman always gets great distance on his kicks. Smotted down by Savage for Impey. Didn't really look where he was hitting that though, and Adams has it covered for Arsenal. Now Vivas. Bergkamp switching it through to Overmars, but the flag is up. Overmars frustrated by the flag. As Bergkamp sneaked it through. You can be sure Leicester were rather glad that the flag went up, because Overmars was away. Adams, and it drops through to David Seaman. His throw picks out Parler. Anelka goes for the return. I think there might have been a use of the hand, was it? Perhaps not. Parler back to Dixon. And Dixon with a rather wild attempt. I was saying earlier he hasn't scored for a couple of years, Lee Dixon. But in a game like this, anything is worth a go. Arsenal leading by 5 goals to 0. Adams got a knock on the head. from Elliott. Here's Overmars. I think that went through the legs of Savage. And the Dutch master, Mark Overmars, was away. Impey. He's running out of play. Andy Impey signed this season from West Ham. Walsh. Olathorn. Elliott helped it on to Gunnlaugsson. Two men on him, Dixon and Grimmondi. Grimmondi has put in a solid, assured performance today, stepping into the famous Arsenal backline in place of Steve Bold. Is it? Arsenal's throw. Leicester have got to be careful they don't get drawn into a relegation battle at the bottom. This will be their 6th game without a Premiership victory. And for all the glory of reaching Wembley in the Worthington Cup final, they know that they have to start picking up a few more points in the league. Is it? Gunnlaugsson. Away by Oremigard. Guppy sent it back in. Elliott. Free kick goes against Elliott for a foul on Vivas. Matthew Elliott, an emergency striker now for Leicester. Not to be too much in that. Olathorn. Lennon. Guppy has to poke it back to Walsh. Savage. Remigard. Vieira. Overmars. Taken away from him by Sinclair. Savage launched it up towards Elliott. And Grimmondi untroubled by Gunnlaugsson. Gilles Grimmondi, who played under Arsene Wenger at Monaco. Lennon was down injured, he gets to his feet. And here is Patrick Vieira! Oh, it's off the post! As Leicester looked in vain for an offside flag. Patrick Vieira perhaps should have tucked away number 6. Gunnlaugsson shows too much of it to Grimmondi. Vivas shows too much of it to Izzet. And now here's Robbie Savage. Vivas recovers to shunt it out of play for a throw. Just over an hour played at Highbury. Arsenal 5, Leicester City 0. And it really has been that convincing. Leicester at least making a fight of it in this second half, having rejigged and pushed Elliott up front with Gunnlaugsson. Having said that, they might have fallen 6-0 behind had Patrick Vieira not hit the post. Away by Walsh. Is it? Guppy. Oh, and Overmars almost stepped in there. Nelson Vivas. Overmars. Support arriving from Lee Dixon. Bergkamp with a little flick. And Impey beat Sinclair in the rush to clear it. Now Gunnlaugsson is away from Adams, and he's away from Grimmondi as well. Gunnlaugsson drags it wide, and he might have done better to pick out Elliott, who was the man in the middle. His full debut for Leicester today, Arne Gunnlaugsson, the Icelandic international. 14 goals for Leicester, but Vieira came closer for Arsenal with this chance. And it was actually pushed onto the post by Casey Keller. Fine save. Here is Keller. Impey flicked it on to Elliott. The return leaving Impey with far too much to do. And Adams screws it back to Seaman. Oh, a little mistake by Remy Gard. Is it? Impey. Adams is with him. And Vivas comes in to have a look as well. And that's cannon off the Argentine World Cup player Nelson Vivas. And it'll be a Leicester City corner. So it'll be Guppy to swing this corner in with his normally trusty left boot. Hasn't had too much of a chance to get into any sort of action today. Adams knocks it behind for another corner. Won his 57th England cap against France recently, Tony Adams. It'll be Impey to send this corner in. Some big men to aim for in Elliott and Walsh as well. But Arsenal's big man grabs hold of it. David Seaman, and the throw out finds Vieira. Savage got back to hold Arsenal up and bring that attack to an abrupt end. Grimondi's header. He's done well today, Gilles Grimondi. Lennon looking to tuck it through to Gunnlaugsson, but blocked by Grimondi. And Arsenal charging forward now. Bergkamp with another precise pass. Not quite precise enough that time, as he looked to seek out his fellow Dutchman Overmars. Keller came and claimed. Adams popping it out of play. Robbie Savage with this throw. Leicester have been savaged by Arsenal today, but they have another throw in. I don't think Arne Gunnlaugsson will forget his full debut in a hurry. Here's Andy Impey, and it was Guppy on the far post. It's a corner off Dixon, and at least Leicester are giving it a go. The corner, and Lennon's shot was deflected through to Seaman, who's produced a wonderful throw out here for Ray Parlour, cut out by Robin Ullathorne. Leicester seem much more alert to any Arsenal danger in the second half. You really wouldn't have wanted to be in their dressing room at half-time with Martin O'Neill venturing forth, no doubt. Here's Bergkamp. Dainty little touch, but not enough to beat Keller. How about that for a pass, though, from Nelson Vivas? Bergkamp unable to find the score sheet so far today. That's because the score sheet has been honked by Anelka with 3 goals and Parra with 2. Walsh cut out by Remy Gard. Arsenal might be ready to bring on Nwankwo Kanu and Kaba Diawara shortly. I'm sure Anelka might make way, having done a pretty decent day's work, it must be said. But Arsenal could afford to rest a few limbs with this 5-0 lead. Adams, as ever, a rock at the back for Arsenal as the substitutions are now made. Double substitution. Nicolas Anelka, Highbury's hat-trick hero, leaves the field to a standing ovation. Mark Overmars also going off. And on come Kaba Diawara, £2.5 million Frenchman. And Nwankwo Kanu, £4.5 million Nigerian. So Overmars and Anelka off, Diawara and Kanu on. Kanu made quite an impact on his full debut against Sheffield United last week for all the wrong reasons when he latched on to the throw. Here's Parler. Dixon has joined the attack here, and Parler pulls it back for Diawara, and his header was glanced across the face of goal. Kaba Diawara actually played with his now teammate Patrick Vieira at under-21 level for France. Signed from Bordeaux, where he was mainly a substitute, despite scoring 5 times in 7 starts for them. Walsh looking to pick out Elliott, but Adams is there. Arsenal can afford the luxury of taking off Overmars and Anelka. Adams. A wrestling match between Gunnlaugsson and Adams. Referee deciding it was 50-50. Vieira to Bergkamp. Dixon. Parler. Back to Dixon. Vieira. Lennon, though, wins it back for Leicester. Jason McAteer has scored his first goal for Blackburn. They've got one back against Sheffield Wednesday, but they still trail 3-1 at Ewood Park. It's been one of Steve Guppy's quieter afternoons. Walsh won the header. Dixon. And Walsh won the header again. Elliott. Guppy takes up the calls. And that's more like it from Steve Guppy. And a rather typical catch from David Seaman. Vivas. Arsenal going to make another substitution shortly, I think, with Stephen Hughes waiting to come on, and Vieira might be the man to go off, to be rested, no doubt. Kaba Diawara is away here, and Sinclair blocked it out of play. Diawara already delighting the Highbury fans as that substitution is made. Vieira off and Hughes on. He actually started Stephen Hughes against Manchester United in midweek. That was his first start for 4 months. He's had a few injury problems this season, the talented 22-year-old who scored a last-minute equaliser against Leicester at Filbert Street in September from long range. Arsene Wenger, intelligent, articulate, and proving himself as one of the best coaches in the world. Vivas's cross will bounce harmlessly through to Casey Keller. Arsene Wenger, the Arsenal manager, speaks 4 different languages. He has an economics degree as well. And he's very well educated in football. That's for sure. So a free kick to Leicester. Elliott and Gunnlaugsson the targets. Here's Hughes, a rather lazy first touch from him. And here's Elliott. Gunnlaugsson to his left. West Ham have equalised at Anfield. It's Liverpool 2, West Ham 2. The Frenchman Marc Keller has got the goal. One or two Frenchmen around here as well. Highbury. Arsenal coasting it 5-0 against Martin O'Neill's Leicester. And the throw-in goes the way of Vivas. He played against England in the World Cup. Martin O'Neill has done a fantastic job at Leicester. But his team have been, well, not even second best today, really. Dixon pokes it through. Bergkamp, it bobbled across the box. And it was sent behind for a corner by Robbie Savage. And the fans in that corner of the ground rise to applaud Dennis Bergkamp. And even Wendy Toms, the linesman or assistant referee, has a good look at him as well. Bergkamp's corner, blocked out of the air by Casey Keller. Adams header away, only to Is it? Elliott steered it on to Gunnlaugsson. And Vivas slid in. Gunnlaugsson. Savage. Neil Lennon. Walsh. He was looking for Guppy, but it drops disappointingly from a Leicester point of view, out of play. Kanu. Parler. Bergkamp. Kanu. Wonderful to watch from Arsenal. Toying with Leicester City at the moment. Oh, and then it all broke down. Is it to Gunnlaugsson, but no joy for him. Remy Gard. Bergkamp helped it through to Diawara! Side netting from Kaba Diawara. The boy from Bordeaux. Actually, wasn't quite what Bergkamp had in mind, but it found its way through to Diawara. Flicked on by Elliott. Straight through to David Seaman, making his 405th appearance for Arsenal. The attendance, another packed house at Highbury, 38,069. Here's Impey. I'm sure he'll settle for the throw off Tony Adams. Impey, a London boy, played in the capital for West Ham and QPR, but that's a weak cross, and Seaman's throw has set Parler away. Kanu, Bergkamp. Obstructed by Neil Lennon. Nobody was quite ready for that. Bergkamp, who tormented Leicester with a sensational hat-trick at Filbert Street last season, has played a big part in their downfall here, and some downfall it has been. 5-0 Arsenal lead. Sinclair to Walsh, back to Keller. Arsenal hoping to close the gap on Manchester United, the leaders. They were 5 points behind before the weekend's games. Just one behind Chelsea. Bergkamp. Kanu. Goes for the 1-2 with Grimmondi, headed away by Frank Sinclair. Into the final 15 minutes. Arsenal trouncing Leicester City 5-0. 4 of those goals coming in the first half, including a hat-trick for Nicolas Anelka, who has now been substituted. And it's a sign of how easy it's been for Arsenal today, that they've been able to take off Anelka, Overmars and Vieira. Kaba Diawara. Lennon for Leicester. That's going behind, I think. Impey unable to keep it in play. It looks like Arsene Wenger's Arsenal will make it 23 matches unbeaten here in the Premiership. And when the whistle goes today, 18 of those 23 matches would have been won by Arsenal. Just 5 draws. And they've all come this season. It's Gunnlaugsson. Leicester trying their best to breach one of the meanest defences in the world of football. Bergkamp, though, is bearing down on their goal. And Bergkamp surely tripped his man there. I think he fouled Olathorn. And it's a free kick to Leicester. Well, this all stemmed from the moment Gunnlaugsson lost it there. Grimmondi sent it forward, Walsh played it into Bergkamp's path, and Olathorn did enough to put him off and was then tripped by the Dutchman. Arsenal heading for their 9th win in their last 11 games, offside against Kanu. Found himself struggling to get into the side at Inter Milan, as did Kaba Diawara at Bordeaux. Mind you, Kanu did have the likes of Ronaldo, Baggio and Shorkaev ahead of him. Around this time last year, Arsenal beat Wimbledon 5-0 here, a very similar performance. They were, of course, heading towards the championship, and they went on to do the double. And they're coming back for a bit more. Leicester have been better in this second half, but then they couldn't have been much worse. Savage comes off Vivas. Diawara survived that challenge and was then obstructed by Frank Sinclair. It was Sinclair who initially challenged Diawara and then came back to barge him out of the way. Welcome to English football, Carver. Here's Kanu. He lifted it over the top, but Walsh knocked it back to Keller. Grimondi. Kanu. Stephen Hughes. Miscontrolled by Diawara. Sinclair. Lennon. Impey. Neil Lennon. Gunnlaugsson. And Arsenal on the attack again. Cut out by Walsh. Nottingham Forest 1, Chelsea 3. And Bjarni Goldbeck has got his second goal of the game. And it's Blackburn 1, Sheffield Wednesday 4 at Ewood Park. Andy Booth with a fourth for the Owls. Stunning result for them. Here's Gunnlaugsson. Still no way past Tony Adams. Man mountain. Adams is joining this attack. Kanu slips it through to Parler, but Ullathorne is going to get there. Slaps it into the stands. It'll be an Arsenal throw. Graham Fenton is coming on for Leicester, hence the delay. He replaces Arne Gunnlaugsson. Fenton, who's been a bit of a serial substitute throughout his career with Aston Villa, Blackburn, and now Leicester. Gunnlaugsson has tried his best today under very difficult circumstances up against such a mean defence. Parler. Here's Vivas. And now Diawara gets his cross in. It's smothered by Casey Keller. Adams calmly steers his header back towards David Seaman. Claimed his shirt was being pulled, but it hardly matters in Arsenal's position at the moment. Free kick taken quickly by Kanu. It's taken off the toes of Diawara by Lennon, and here's Sinclair. Is it? Impey. Savage. Elliott finding Fenton. Lennon. Impey. And as you might expect against Arsenal, the offside flag went up in that position. Arsenal holding the line as well as ever. Grimondi. Diawara, or Kanu rather, back to Vivas. Kanu again. Dixon. Parler slips it through for Bergkamp, who pulled it back, but Keller was there to meet it at the near post. You'd have thought his cross might have been snuffed out by Frank Sinclair then, but somehow Bergkamp managed to deal with the threat posed by the Leicester defender. Seaman sends that into the top tier. No wonder he's smiling. It's all smiles at Highbury today, unless you happen to be a visiting player or a visiting fan. Three minutes remaining. Is it? Will Leicester be able to manage a scant consolation goal? Don't bank on it against the meanies of Arsenal. We've only let in 4 goals here at Highbury this season, and that really does tell you what they are all about. Foundations built from the back. Leeds United have beaten Everton by 1-0 at Ellen Road, full-time score. Here's Impey. Lennon. There's no flag then, much to Arsenal's amazement, because it did look like about 3 players were offside. Leicester have been well and truly tonked today. Adams will marshal that one behind for a goal kick. He's lifted more trophies than any other Arsenal captain, Tony Adams. 7 in all. You get the feeling he might not have finished yet. Guppy. Dixon, away by Walsh. Lindegaard. Here's Kanu. Bit of space for him to exploit here. And he's picked out Diawara! Oh, right across the face of goal from Kaba Diawara. Still no goal for Bergkamp today, but as usual, he's offered plenty more. An emphatic Arsenal performance. Chelsea and Manchester United beware. Seaman's kick is going to go straight through to his opposite number, Casey Keller. Just 1 minute of time to be added on in a match where we haven't seen a booking, unusually, in the Premiership. Savage. Newcastle have pulled one back at Southampton. They trail 2-1. Dietmar Hamann, the German, on target. Guppy's cross now for Leicester. Impey. Sinclair. Savage made a bit of a mess of that, and the beneficiary is Diawara, but he can't keep it in play. He nearly took out a Stewart, mind you. Well, it can't get much better than this for Arsene Wenger, despite the concerned expression. His team have turned it on today, mainly in the first half. Leicester made a few changes at half-time, rejigged their formation. It's full time at Highbury though, and Arsene's Arsenal have thrashed Leicester City by 5-0. And his Bergkamp set up the first 3 goals, and no wonder that Steve Walsh wants his shirt. Anelka with a hat-trick, Ray Parlour with a double. And the champions really showed today that once again the title is very much their target. Martin O'Neill may have taken Leicester to Wembley in the Worthington Cup final. His side is slipping down the Premiership table though, as Arsenal move up and up. It finishes as Martin O'Neill finds time to maybe apologise to some of the Leicester fans for the thrashing that his side have got today. Although they weren't really in it in the first half, you have to remember also that they were up against one of the best teams in not only England but Europe and perhaps the world. Awesome Arsenal beating Leicester City by 5 goals to 0 at Highbury.